Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, assorted members of the judiciary, it's time for Mythic Wars. I have not been able to watch a single game thus far. Actually, that's a lie. I watched 5 seconds to a minute of one of the games of Rappel versus Chasing the Sun, and then I had to turn it off and go do other things. I've been incredibly busy over the past week since the tournament has started, but the busy period is done. And we're back. So time to strap in. Tournament season is upon us, and who better to bring us into this than one of the highest performing players in tournament thus far, constantly in the top 5-4 in tournaments. His name is Grass, and he's going to be playing as Fushi. I'm still a little bit sick, so I'm going to be in a sort of on the DL vocal cords for this one. His opponent today, you guys might not know him. He goes by SK24 at the moment, which is incredibly bizarre. Now, I'm pretty sure, maybe someone in the chat can let me know. I'm pretty sure this is mechanics. SK24. So it is indeed. So mechanics, for those of you who don't know, this guy is one of the GOATs of team games. He's from the UCA clan. He has helped Matrius to winning. I think they've won a RTSL together. They were constantly in the top 4, top 2 of any sort of RTSL or clan tournament, and is just actually an all-around RTS god. He is incredibly good at the game. I believe he had a stint in Retold tournaments. I believe he participated in the Retold Retold Red Bull, the Red Bull qualifiers, where he took out some incredibly tough competition. I believe he lost to, I want to say that he lost to someone like the Mister. He got unlucky and had to run into one of those sort of like top 4 players, and unfortunately couldn't get quite through to that sort of top 8 thing. Got knocked out by Eric. There you go. Eric Eric BR. So very, very strong player there. So yeah, he's definitely one of the Mr. and Eric. I mean, basically the same person, right? But yeah, Eric's always like, you know, top 16, just outside of the top 16. So and it was a very close series as well. I vaguely recall it. No, he beat Eric? No, he knocked out Eric. I see. He lost. Who did he lose to? It's like, come on, Twitch chat, you got to help me here. This is what you're here for. All right. So Imperial Academy coming through for Grass, as he's now into the Classic Legends and starting to go through Chiyo, which is a little bit different. Normally we're going to be seeing the Gen Nu here with the Vanish and all of the chillin', but this is a this is a totally fine angle to go here for Grass. You get access to super halberdiers, and that can basically cut down the cavalry menace that is Poseidon. And then on top of that, you can go through, I believe it's Golmang, and start making yourself White Horse Cavalry. And this combo doesn't really have a counter, with the exception of making Hoplites, which a Poseidon player really doesn't want to do. So yeah, on top of that, because it's so food heavy, as we are seeing a little bit of pressure, and wow, he's going to lose a villager! I was too busy yapping. Mechanics is already on the case here. Can't be losing a villager that early to Poseidon. That's a really, really nice attack there. Normally you get idle time, but it's beautiful. Nonetheless, we see a little bit of a cheekiness here from Grass. He's expecting a town center. There is no town center coming. It is one town center full send here for Mechanics for the time being. Meanwhile, Grass is going for the town center. This seems like one of those metagame-y builds here from Grass. I don't think he is going to be I mean, if he gets the town center up, he's totally fine, but there's no way for him to defend this. If this gets spotted, by Mechanics, this game is effectively over in an instant. And Mechanics has got the Pegasus out. He literally has it. It's just an inch out of position. An inch out of position. The town center, 30 seconds before it's going up. And Mechanics moving back. He doesn't see either of the... Oh, he's going to get... Oh, my God. All right, well, Grass's metagaming ways have been shut down in the biggest of ways here. We'll see if he's actually going to be able to deny this completely. The Nijar does a huge amount of damage. However, there's enough Hippias here to snipe it down as the Chi-Yo gets taken... Well, that's not the Chi-Yo. I've forgotten it. The Yatsu gets taken out. One Quaofu down. As the Atalanta getting some big damage onto the Nijar on the front here. Manages to snipe it down. Going after the next one. Oh, a little bit of a funkiness there from the Hippias, but does notice it. And the Quaofu goes down as well. Huge damage here from Mechanics. As Grass does not read that situation all too well. And now he's going to be in a really, really difficult position moving forward here. Okay, another Pioneer, a couple more Pioneers getting taken out as the Halberdiers to retreat back into the main base. And obviously Mechanics here can just clean up this town center. That's going to be about 300-ish resources gone, I'd guess. 350 resources is gone for Grass now. And Grass has to play a one town center game. They're on double machine workshop down here. A little bit interesting. I'm not sure what that is for. There's no infantry just yet. Realistically here, all Grass wants to be doing against what Mechanics is doing. Maybe I should call him SK24. And what SK24 is doing is it's just build Halberdier until anything else starts coming out. And at which case, the only thing that's worth building is probably the archers. And when the archers come out, then we can start thinking about the heroic age. There's the villagers coming up here for Grass, grabbing that little position. Now, Grass is out on the map. Really have to be careful with these Hippias now, because these Halberdier, they don't have any upgrades just yet, but look at the damage they do. Great control from Mechanics. Incredible micro. Sniping almost one Yatsu down here as the Atalanta on the case, but not able to quite chase that down. Picks off a Halberdier. That control was insane from Mechanics. He is all over this thus far, but Grass coming back in. No, he's back out, and now... SK24. I'm going to go between SK24 and Mechanics. SK24 now needs to start thinking about archers, and he does drop down in archery range. He's got this game into the sort of position that he wants it to be in. He wants this game to be in a one town center, full aggression, full spamming in the classical age sort of war. Now, what Grass has got access to is the Peach Blossom Spring. As his villagers getting caught out, does he have the upgrade? He doesn't have the upgrade survival equipment, so this fight is not amazing for him. Does lose another villager there. 2 villagers down. The Hippias do manage to escape here without any losses. And he does have the upgrade to give them HP back. As now we see a town center for Grass. He just wants it. He needs that town center up. And now we're going to be seeing Dionysus coming through for SK24. A couple more military academies now is an interesting idea. The reason why I was suggesting White Horse Cavalry, Halberdier, for Fushi, for Chi-Yo. Obviously, you don't have White Horse Cavalry until the Heroic Age, but the reason I suggest that is because the Fire Archers are so good that you almost don't want to build infantry just because they're there. And one thing that China can do is If infantry pop out, they can grab one of these. You don't even need 2 machine works. You just grab one and you get the training camp, and then you just spam out fire archers as a response to it. So I'm not sure he's going to be building them or if he's just throwing these down just in case. But the archers make a lot of sense because there's no access to the White Horse Cavalry just yet. This Grass now has his second town center. He's struggling for food a little bit. He is waiting a long time on this Peach Blossom Spring. This is one thing that I think that Fushi players... I mean, realistically here, Grass has had a really rough opening, so lots of unfortunate things going to come through as we are going to be seeing Hypaspis. And Hypaspis, well, they're a great unit, but they are a unit that does get, again, countered by that White Horse Cavalry. And I think a lot of players... This is what I was talking about. A lot of players use this Peach Blossom Spring a little bit funkily at the moment. It's all about trying to get to the Mythic Age, right? But you can use it to get to the Heroic Age. You can use it to, in the Classical Age, to spam even more units out. There's a lot of different interesting ways to use this Peach Blossom Spring. Just depends on what the moment is calling for. But the problem here for Grass is he's going to be running out of gold very, very shortly. Market coming up for Grass over here. And realistically also, I mean, the thing is, like, grabbing the Peach Blossom Spring, it's really not that many resources. Like, you look at it and you go, oh, he gets 1,000 extra food. I mean, it's not really that, because it's only 0.8 faster. It's 100% faster gather rate. So, it's kind of like doubling the villages you've got on it for the period that you get to grab it from. Obviously, it's free. It's resources out of thin air, but still... That's all it is. As SK24 still not grabbing a talent center here does... I mean, he's basically saying, I'm going to go all in this game. We're not going to be taking any sort of slow, methodical play here. We're going pretty all in here. This gold mine over here is very much out in the open. We do see a couple of halberdiers onto this side as the army going to charge through, take out the town center. Gold Mang is through, which does mean Grass will be able to put down a palace over onto this side, probably with forest protection is going to be his idea. As he finishes up with the stuff there. Double Hydras coming through here. It's SK24 in a ridiculously good position right now. And it looks like SK24 doesn't even care about the gold. He's just saying, hey, what if I just kill your town center and then you can't get to the Heroic Age? Oh, it's going to go down as well. I don't think he's going to be able to get to the Heroic Age here. He drops the lightning weapons just to buy it a little bit more time. It looks like he is going to be able to get there ever so close to denying that one. But he manages to get to the Heroic Age. Does this matter or not as the forest protection gets dropped down? We see a ballet coming up. There's just no units here for Grass. There are just no units here for Grass at all, as the ballet will get denied, most likely. All he has to do is turn around and snipe it down, and that he does. Bronze finishes up, ballet down, villagers down, and I think, ladies and gentlemen, 175 population to 46. That is game one. Over to SK24. An impeccably well played game by SK24. I think Grass here was like under the impression that Poseidon goes fast second town center in this matchup. That's my feeling on this. That was what he was doing. But instead of scouting it out and then reacting to it, he just tried to metagame it and just grab the town center and say, hey, you're not going to be able to get this if you go for a town center, which is accurate. However, because SK24 did something maybe, I don't know if you call this offbeat, off meta. I think this is maybe even standard for Poseidon on this sort of a map. Yeah, he just can't get this town center up. He can't get this town center up either, though this one's awful. But yeah, he's not going to be able to get the middle town center up at all. And it's just game over from there. I think if he stays one town center and just keeps pumping out Halberdier and heroes, he's totally fine to then just go heroic age, get himself a ballet, and then make the units. And he should be fine to defend anything that the Poseidon's going to throw at him, in my opinion. But maybe not. I don't know. Well played here from SK24. Mechanics, the man, the myth, the legend. It's a best of 5. We will get into that next game relatively soon. Hope you guys enjoying, and we'll see you in the next one. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, game number 2. First game did go the wayside of SK24. However, Grass, he's back for vengeance. He is now on to one of what I would consider Grass's main gods. Grass is a Norse player through and through, and a really, really strong one at that. And he's going to be showing us some flair today. But he is up against the menace that is Ra. I was talking about this with Null Ra actually recently, and a bunch of other people as well. But the thing I think that makes Ra so good against Norse, it's not one thing. It's the fact that Ra kind of gets to do whatever Ra wants to do. And it's good. You can go one town center Wadget. You can go one town center Bast with Sphinx. And you can go one town center Bast, Sphinx into a heroic age and do things. You can go 2 town center Bast. You can 2 town centers Wadget Reactions. You can go literally whatever you feel like. And a lot of it is just really good against Norse. And it's up to the Norse player to be able to react to said strategy and survive. And then they can find wins if they do that. So, yeah, the onus is on the Norse player to figure out their way through the matchup based on what their opponent's going to be doing. And we'll see what's going to happen here for Grass. Now, SK24 has already done the slightest of... excuse me, the slightest of metagaming. Well, Grass was doing the metagaming, but anti-metagaming in this series. So we'll see if he's going to continue along that trend, that track, or if it's going to go a different way. Looking at the map already, let's take a look at the relics and see if anything's popping up here. Got Tale of Cerberus. This one's really, really nice for Sphinx. It's really, really nice for Draugr as well, which can be a really potent unit to be adding into the comp for Freya. Over here we've got Trojan Gate Hinge with the plus 40% walls there. On the back here we've got Head of Orpheus with plus 8 building line of sight. And on the left-hand corner of the map we've got Shenong's Okray Whip. We've already talked about this one. This one is... I think this relic is a nice relic. Really, really good. Got to pick that one up. Enjoy it. Have fun. And all the good stuff. There's a temple coming through for SK24 now. And it's going to be a 4:15 advance time. 4:15, 4 minute. It's much of a muchness in this matchup. I prefer going a little bit quicker. But it just depends on what sort of a strategy you're going to be going for. As we do see an obelisk on the way here for SK24. And a Berserk says, excuse me, those are my goats. And that priest there is going to go down. If he wants to. He doesn't have to. And he can go scout. But you could definitely just whack away at this priest. And I don't think it's making it all the way back to a home base when it's that far forward. But anyways. Whoop, I didn't do the flipperoonie here. Do a quick flipperoonie around. So, wait, no, that was wrong. Hold on. No. I'll keep this over here. Okay. So we'll see which way SK24 is going to want to go for this. He is looking for a town center here. So this is what... Personally, I think this is like... The strategy is offbeat in tournaments because this is not the Mister's game plan, right? The Mister here will go for Wadgets and things like that. And classical army and just overpower the Freya. I don't exactly know what Mister would do here, but that's what he was sort of playing for. But I think this is kind of your quote-unquote correct like the highest percentage play for Ra is to go for this town center and then go into a barracks immediately. Like you can see, he can basically afford it. And we start making axemen. That's the priest here taking some damage. The villager's going to get some shanking in. Got to be so careful here. Down to 24 HP. Now the other option here for Grass is to just say, hey, you're going for a town center. Let's just go for an all-in right now. And I'll look at a couple of shanks coming in. Does he have the upgrade? No. As the Pharaoh comes over, we'll be ending up losing the priests, but a Pharaoh and priest are out, and Grass gets a hefty delay here. This is a big deal. A hefty delay. More villagers getting pulled over here to just finish this town center off. There's the Wadjet getting pulled back, not quite going down. Nice shanking for the time being. This is a lot of economic damage getting dealt, however, as the Wadjet will end up falling. The Pharaoh will end up surviving. This villager's getting close to falling. Does die there. Nice pick for Grass. Is now SK24 going to try and grab himself this boar, this Auroch over here. Sniping up the obelisk. And yeah, he has to, Grass just has to make a decision now. Are we going to put a town center down and play the slow game? Or are we going to go straight into our Asgardian Hill Fort and go for a Rams? Now, the quote-unquote correct response here for our Ra player is probably to be putting barracks in the main base. Put nothing around this town center and just say, if you're going to go for the one town center all in, please do. I won't defend. Send the portal rams in. I'm not going to defend it. I'm going to leave, bring all my villagers back into my main base, mass an army, push back out, and we're good to go. But SK24 is building up on this spot. He's going to try and defend. Very, very difficult. We'll see if he's going to make it happen, though. As the Berserk's coming around, we are seeing some Axemen on the way. Pharaoh gets pulled. Gets a shot up onto the Draugr. Snipes the Draugr. Pharaoh getting targeted down here. And it lives with 1 HP. Absolutely brutal. There's a couple more Axemen to come out, and it will be the I can't even say. I don't even know how to say it. It's the early portable Rams tech to come through. As the Berserk's running around, they have 4.8 speed. Doesn't quite have the upgrade for them just yet. One thing you'll note here is that Grass hasn't grabbed himself hand axe. This is something I've noticed from Grass's Norse. He just, for some reason, does not value economic upgrades. Like, he's got pickaxe, but no hand axe. He is macroing, he is spending all his resources, so it's not like... I mean, that being said, it's like Freya hand axe is so cheap. Anyway, some walls to come up over here. The Ram's starting to come through. And the strategy is very apparent right now. And you can see the difference in military is starting to become very big. Little snipe and then run. But this is really interesting from Grass. He just distracts a bunch while he's setting up these portal rams, making himself a whole bunch of raining cavalry. But yeah, effectively here, SK24 can't defend this. He's putting more barracks down. He cannot defend this. And that is just simply a fact. He just can't. So the thing that he does have right now is he's got a villager lead of about, I don't know, 10. So if he just leaves the position, rebuilds in his main base, he's okay to continue. He's got all the gold mines in the world. He's got some chickens here. He's got some goats. Maybe mercenary. Maybe with villagers with survival equipment, skin of the rhino. Now these rams, they hit so hard. And SK24 is going to attempt to defend here. brings the villagers over, but too little too late. Town Center down. Wadget's dying on the back, and he does decide to Shifting Sands away, but a couple of villagers going to be getting left for dead over here. They can make a run for this wooden gate. Maybe survive. Armory coming up in the main base for SK24 in a lot of trouble now. Like, we've had omniscience this entire time. We know what Grass was planning. SK24 did not, quite clearly. And after all the damage, it's time for more Draugr. And, I mean, there's still a slight villager lead here for SK24, but considering now it's only going to be 3, that's not a villager lead when you're playing against Norse. So there's no significant advantage here. So now Grass can just say, okay, time for a town center for myself, or we can do whatever else we want. Going to the main base, the portable ram's going. Looking to try and finish off the temple. Does manage to take it down, loses 1 portable ram for it. But now the army for Grass just motors into the main base. There's just no military out for SK24 at the moment. He's now making some spearmen. And Grass is just doing Grass things. Spam units. Look for something to kill. Check out his point of view. Doesn't know exactly what's happening on the bottom of the map. Grass loves to do this. He loves to be the host and pick red. Just to make my brain confused. Now Grass says, this town center looks good. Gold mine over here is fantastic. Nice little defensive position for his Ghoul and Bursty if he needs it. He's already done so much damage. So pulling this game back for SK24 is going to be tricky. Some villagers going down. Nice little raid. SK24 going to be pumping out spearmen here, I guess. He's got himself 5 barracks at the moment. But with 2 town centers now, I'm probably going to be able to go to the next age relatively soon. There's going to be Aegir. There's going to be Tempest. It's going to be a very difficult thing to kill off. We're also seeing Sobek to come through as well. We could also go through Bragi. Does make some sense. Well, this wall not actually walled. As it will indeed be Aegir after all is said and done. Market is up for SK24. And, I mean, he has to figure out a way back into this game. This is the hardest part right now for SK24. Like, there's villages he can raid. If he can get some sort of a huge damage done with Locust. And then somehow bait Tempest, Shifting Sands away. It's the Reigning Cavalry. We'll sneak through here. They don't have to worry about any wall. So they can just sneak in past this one. Is this spotted? Nope. There's mechanics here. SK24 does manage to pull back immediately. But he's going to lose those axe with the wall. A classic. The wall going up. The army coming around here to attempt to support. There's the spearman on the back. The Wadgets here as well get a little bit of damage done. Nice play from SK24. Great awareness. As the Reigning Cavalry moving down to the bottom side here. We've got the Patsukos over here.
Gary.
There's one villager going down from the Raiding Cavalry raid here, but I mean, following all of this on, what are you really looking for here from Grass or SK24's perspective. Looks like he's going for a Migdol up on this spot. A very random Migdol placement, to be honest. We'll try and secure the town center, I guess. And Grass is just biding his time here. Maybe a little bit too much biding his time, but one thing I guess when you're playing Norse against, and I've noticed it, when you're playing Norse against anything is, you're just playing, if you got an advantage, just play slow. Expand your field of view, your field of advantage, your advantage, or whatever you want to call it. And slowly take the map. And then you can squeeze your opponent. You don't have to go crazy. It works very, very well. So now the Migdol is up onto this side. We will see a Locust getting dropped down, but that's not a very high quality Locust in the slightest. Just charging in onto this gap here. Those throw-on action are going to get so much value as Aegir, Tempest drop down. All these units over here are going to be falling. The Wadgets on the back getting frozen up. A couple of Pitsukos in as well to cause some problems. But that there does end up being the game as SK24 does decide to tap out. I mean, this game here did come down to a very solidly well-executed portable ram attack. And unfortunately for SK24, I just think he didn't think that this was, or maybe didn't know that this was a thing. Not 100% sure, but he didn't know the response to this. And the response is get as many villages as you can out, wait till the last moment to shifting stands away, but make sure you got all your barracks in the main base. That way, we're playing an equal game. We've paid off our town center, right? With the 10 plus villages that we've got. If we take a quick look at the post game, we can take a look at it. Settlements captured here. You can see it goes down at 9 minutes. So you've had the town center from 5 minutes 38 to 9 minutes. So that's, what is that? 4 minutes roughly of villager production. So you're looking at 16-ish villager advantage here if you lose nothing. I mean, in the end here, it was about 43 to 34. So it's 10 villager advantage. I think this should have been a little bit more than it was. But anyways, he did have a little bit of an issue getting the town center up. But if he just retreated into his main base, had barracks in his main base, so all he loses is the 550 gold on that town center, he's already paid that off in spades. You paid that off with 1 minute of gather time being up 10 villages. And just pumping out the counter units, spearmen, after that fact. And he would have been in a good spot. Unfortunately, he didn't do that. I'm not saying he would have won the game there, but he would have been in a good spot to continue, is what I'm saying. At the very worst, equal, right? Nonetheless, well played there from Grass, and yeah, we'll see you in the next game. Alrighty, we're circling back to this Grass versus SK24 series here. I watched the first two a couple of days ago, so if you're on the YouTubes and watching this one, you won't notice anything at all. It'll just feel like, wow, he just kind of changed his jumper, changed his shirt, maybe has a fresh haircut. I don't know. I don't know exactly remember where I was at, but yeah, we're circling back to this series now. I'm going to finish it up. So in the left-hand corner, we've got Grass playing as Noir, and in the right-hand corner, we've got SK24 or Mechanics playing as Hades on the map Alfheim. So we do find ourselves in a very closed off Alfheim. I'm really actually not sure who this favors, because I do think that Noir can function really, really well here against Hades. I know a lot of people are like, Hades is the late game god. He is really, really powerful with the extra range on the archers, with the extra HP on the myth units, with the Artemis and all the other good stuff. But Noir is pretty insane too. there's a lot of tricky stuff that Noir can do. That being said, there is something here with Noir in that a lot of players are going through Hull 2. This God Path, while it does give you access to one of the most frustrating to play against God powers in the game, it's not frustrating to play against because it is overpowered, so to speak. It is just simply like it means you have to play a certain style playing into Noir, right? You have to play a very certain style playing into Noir, which is fine, right? But if we go into Gen Nu, what that does is it opens up the game into multiple different styles that sort of work. But the Noir player gets things like Chillin', gets things like Reincarnation. So there is a lot of that technology Reincarnation, which can give you 1 unit back every 5 that die. So there's a lot of really, really strong stuff in there. We'll see what the players are going to go, and it's going to be how to for Grass. So he wants to play this defensive style. He wants to force SK24 into this idea or into this style of gameplay. We'll see if it's going to work out for him, but at the moment he's got a really nice defensive base. It's going to be tough to put any early game pressure on. There's a really weird tree line here blocking in this position. It's kind of cute how the path comes in all the way here into the temple, and the forest is kind of just outlining the path. Did you guys ever notice this? The paths actually, I've never noticed this. The paths actually link you up to your opponent's base. How is it? This is like the first time I've noticed this. Well, it's a thing. So there you go. As the relics coming in, we got a ship of fingernails here. Nice to get that extra 0.5 food per second. There's another relic over here. Let's check that one. Tower of Cestus, boosting towers by 1x versus myth units. Not the most useful one there. Hecate's Torch here is nice for Grass on the left-hand corner there. And we've got Oseberg Wagon there as well. This one's probably going to be a really, really good relic for this matchup because 9 times out of 10, if you're going to go through How To as the Noir, you're probably finding this game going very, very late. Anyways, Athena coming in for SK24 as his Ajax does manage to snipe down the Sky Lantern there. And he is actually going to get the Oseberg Wagon. It looks like Grass kind of neglected to get himself the Sky Lantern technology there to pick up relics. Which effectively means he's lost quite a bit in this early game. I think both of the relics that Mechanics SK24 has grabbed here are really, really good for this specific map and this specific matchup. Obviously, this one here is kind of, I mean, it is what it is. It's a tiny bit of food, but it's good. And not that, I don't, maybe Grass could have stolen away. But anyways, the Cheong-Chi coming through will get chased down by the Achilles. Not wanting to allow this in the slightest. It's going to be a forward town center for Mechanics, a back town center for Grass over here. Oh, and the Minotaur is in. That's 2 villages. That's absolutely gigantic there. Almost gets another one. Oh, tries to do some animation canceling, gets the headbutt off. I think if he actually did that correctly, he would have killed another peasant. Really, really unlucky for Grass, or really well played by Mechanics to just get in there. Wasn't paying attention on that one. This little area here. Let's take a quick look at it. Like sneaking in here, there's just nothing. Like you're going to notice it if you're paying attention over onto this side, but nice little start there for SK24. Big advantage now cooking. So let's see if we can somewhat convert on that, or if it's going to be, if it's just going to be nothing and it doesn't matter that you lose villages. Sometimes that sort of stuff happens where the villagers just deaths early just don't end, like nobody really punishes it. You'd be both players just a little bit too like scared or whatever. But nonetheless, unfortunately here for Mechanics, his villagers have decided to chop a tree in Narnia over here, and yeah, they need to get back over close to the storehouse. There's a lot of lost resources. This is I think this is a pathing bug that's happened in a recent patch where your villagers are just kind of going all over the place. So for everyone just trying to get through it themselves, just check your wood line. And another 2 villagers killed. Are you kidding me? Another 2 villagers killed. I'm kind of just expecting nothing to happen in this early game, but the Mechanics is just all over grass at the moment. Absolutely all over grass. And I imagine behind all this could be 3 town centers now if he wants. Like, Mechanics has killed off so many villagers at this point that he is basically in front on villager count when taking into a consideration that this is also Quaofu time helping keep grass afloat, and the peasants, I believe do they train a touch quicker? No, they don't. I think you got the town center up faster or something like that. So this is absolutely huge for Mechanics moving forward. So we'll see if he can. We'll see what he's going to go for, either a heroic age or a 3rd town center. He could get in and grab the middle town center if he wants. He doesn't have to grab this back one. As he comes in yet again, not going to be able to get the villager. It's the Cheongchi wandering over onto this position right now. Ajax and Chiron on the case, but he's a speedy boy and gets speed walked. Gets speed walked back. For those of you who don't really know what I mean by speed walking, effectively in Age of Mythology, the way that formations work is units will slow down and speed up respectively to get everyone into formation. So if you grab a batch of units on the back here and a unit over here and you click them together, one of those units is going to get to that spot faster, depending on where you click. So you can make a unit that's not snared move very, very quickly into that formation and get a little bit of a speed boost. So the speed walking, there you go. As the peasant goes down over here, Achilles and Ajax just going to be retreating back. Another pick. It's just, there's so many. Loses the Minotaur there, though. Trying to get walls up and trying to secure this top position. Meanwhile, Aphrodite on the way. Golmang coming through here as well. As the hero Quaofu going to be moving in. Looking to drop potentially a ballet onto this position here. And another peasant going to come through and drop a wooden wall here. One idea in these sorts of situations is, if you get your villager over here, you can wall this off first. But if your opponent starts a wall, and you can just kind of put your own wall through it. I've said this a million times, but if you want to just make sure that there's no funny business or easy walls off in a game, you can just drop one wall, one perpendicular wall in here, and then gate it, and then you kind of shut down any of the walling shenanigans. There's Mechanics now in the heroic age. He's going through Aphrodite. We got Shaft Mine, Bowsaw immediately coming through. Grass, on the other hand, I've noticed this with Grass. He really doesn't value economic upgrades. He values getting the units out first and foremost, and maybe getting them a little bit later. Maybe actually valuing the Mythic age here first. But realistically, the upgrades that are super important here, this one here, Hand axe is also really important. This survival equipment is important. Irrigation, if you have the farm sound, which he doesn't have, so he has a couple of them. But all of those upgrades can be very, very helpful. But nonetheless, we are going to be seeing the siege crossbows coming through, ready to put some pressure on. Golden apples coming in. Hephaestus on the way. Looks like Mechanics wants himself a Mythic age, and he's going to be going for it. But he will be taking a lot of damage here moving forward, as Grass could potentially drop a wall that hits right here with the ballet connected and start sieging this town center down with the siege crossbow with very little recourse, with the exception of potentially making his own Petropolis out. as the siege crossbow comes in, and it's going to slowly start getting some damage done onto the town center. Now you might go, wow, siege crossbows, they don't do much damage, do they? You'd be kind of right, they don't do much damage, but you can get yourself a hefty amount of these bad boys out. They're only 3 population, they're only 300 resources, they're very, very cheap. There's the walls going down, a couple of White Horse cavalry sneaking through here. Hoplites starting to come in. There is the option of dropping a thing over here. Oh, the villagers on this gold mine getting caught out. Grass in the middle of nowhere, taking huge damage. Yet again, these villager losses are going to come back and bite Grass in the bum severely at the end of this game. As the Tao Wu coming through, headbutting the town center. We've got the curse to come through in an attempt to hold on here. Well, it looks like the town center will end up falling as the villagers popping back in and out, but these 2 or 3 siege crossbows do get enough damage done. Still no forest protection getting dropped down. No earth wall just yet. Definitely worth it now dropping the forest protection down, but it does take quite a few seconds for the units to actually start getting snared up here and taking damage. And there you go. They all take a little bit of damage from that one as he's just going to be hanging out here for a little bit longer. The siege crossbows going after the fortress as we do have the earth wall getting dropped down. Going to be difficult to retreat out of here. If he can get over here and start getting the damage done, it's all fine for him. There's a couple of fire archers out actually to deal with these hoplites. Not only that, the siege crossbow is getting healed up inside of this forest protection, but loses 1 nonetheless as the walls are going down on the back. Has to retreat back. Any sort of siege here, a Colossus, a Petropolis, a Heliopolis to take out these walls nice and quick would be a nice way to move forward. But now it's a Mythic Age Hades versus a Heroic Age Noir. 2 town centers to 1 town center, but a very, very strange economic problem coming the wayside of mechanics. He's got to get this gold out of his bank. Does he have a market? He doesn't have a market. He hasn't started a market. He's going for a 3rd town center. He could buy a market, get himself the food, the wood that he needs, sort this out. He's got more than enough of an economic lead with Forge of Olympus plus the Plenty Vault plus the... well, he's behind on villagers, but he is in front to some degree because he hasn't really lost any just yet. Now the raid's coming through for Grass. Is he going to try and bring himself back into this game? We'll see if he's going to be able to do it because he can go for a gold staff here. There's this gold mine over here with 4,000 gold left in it. The gold mine in the main base has only got 300 gold here. So controlling this position and getting over and controlling this position may be a little bit challenging, but if he can do it, that's going to be a difficult position for mechanics to be in, even though he does have 6 gold a second coming in. That's not normally enough. Not normally enough to keep yourself afloat. Oh, and he steals the Plenty Vault! I didn't think you could if there was a house next to it. Yeah, the houses... Maybe the houses don't work, or maybe it's too far from the Plenty Vault or something. I don't know. Now, Gold Starve is always viable. Even if he's got 2 Plenty Vaults at 10 gold a second. Like, that's like only having 10 villagers on gold. That's not enough to support a 100 or a 100 population army. It's just not. And especially if you control this space, you control this space and this space, then all of a sudden the trade route is going to be tiny as well. Put a market over here, going over here, you're going to get like 20 gold from it. But nonetheless, like Grass still has to win some fights here. This is the big problem. But that being said, it does look like it's going to be Hoplite Peltas, which is a composition here that Grass is ready for. He's got the White Horse Cavalry. He's got the Fire Archers. He does have his Jiang Xia here as well to limit the damage of the myth units, as well as getting lots of damage onto them. He does a hefty amount. Five divine damage a shot times 5 plus the 10 damage a shot as well in pierce times 5. So 50 damage a shot. That's a hefty amount of damage that it does onto those myth units there. Mechanics to break through here. Town center is up, and we do have Gong Gong coming in. Gong Gong on the way. This is dangerous for mechanics. The best usage of this gold power is going to be to effectively like tsunami, tidal wave, great flood into forest protection. And an army sitting there as well would be ideal. But I love this movement here from mechanics. He goes, all right, if you're over here defending, what if I just rotate? And his army moves much quicker. Well, maybe it doesn't. It was moving at 3 speed, but there's much less room for him to have to traverse here as the town center going down. And Grass now in a lot of trouble. He can't really take a fight. He wants to wait for the Mythic Age, wait for some upgrades to come through. Peltas going to be doing some big damage onto the back here. Grass has to retreat back here. Going to be doing a little bit of the shoot and scoot here as well. Nice job with that. There's a ballet going up. It's going to be a long time for one villager to get a ballet up. As he's continuing to kite this one nicely. It could be a good idea to forest protection in the main base here. Gong Gong almost in, and look at this here from Mechanics. He says, get me out of here. I'm going after the ballet. It's got a couple of seconds remaining as more villagers getting pulled off the gold mine to try and get over here. As the Mythic Age now in. Great Flood dropped down onto this army, getting sent right in onto this position, getting left here amongst this army. All of those hoplites lose a lot of HP here, but was it enough as the Qinglong moves forward, drops the special ability, misses the bulk of the units there though, as the population for Grass has dropped down to 60. But he gets the double dragons out. He retreats back. And there's going to be more Qinglong to start coming out here. A couple of fire archers, heavy white horse cav on the way. And can Grass win these fights? The thing is, there's a Perseus on the back. There's heroes all over the place here for Mechanics. He's got 3 of them. He's got the Chiron. He's got the Perseus. He can shoot up. He can take these Qinglong down incredibly fast. Picking off one here. Not really microing the Perseus at all. He's got a special ability, I think, that works on flying myth units. I think it's all, oh no, targets all land myth units. It can't hit a flying one. I didn't actually know that. I'm a bit surprised on that. Does he do... How much damage does he do when shooting? 21. So he actually loses quite a bit of divine damage there as well. Spicy. Nice counter to the Perseus, actually. The dragons there, the Qinglong. But now, a town center for Mechanics. He is looking like he's going to be converting this game right now. He's at full population. He's got all the armor upgrades in the world, minus Iron Shields, which is researching right now for incredibly cheap, thanks to Forge of Olympus. Hoplites, Peltast, all the good stuff starting to come out here as the heroes continuing to do a good job of taking out these Qinglong. Perseus with 15 HP left and a dream. Does manage to snipe it down. Drops down to 10 HP now after he goes for a bit of a swim in the Qinglong spit, I guess. And Grass looks like he may just have bitten off more than he can chew in this game. As all the dragons now falling. No dragons remaining. Ballet goes down. And Grass taps out. As SK24 takes a 2-1 lead in this best of 5 series for the group stages of the Mythic Wars tournament. Incredibly well played, well executed by SK24. See, here's the thing. He got such a gigantic advantage early with the raids. One Minotaur picking off 2 villages. One Achilles picking off 2 villages. Random villages being dropped left and right. Let's take a quick look at the timeline here to just take it all in. You can't even see where the villages actually dropped, but you can see that this here, you can see that the graph gets closer and closer and closer and then takes over, which generally shouldn't happen. Hades should normally be behind. Hades should normally be behind, but not to be in this game as Mechanics gets the raids and gets the conversion here. Well played. Moving to game number 4. See if Grass can make it work or if Mechanics can take a victory here in 4 or 5 games. We'll see. GG. And game number 4. Game number 4 is back. As we're going to be seeing Grass going in with Zeus. And Mechanics going in with Gaia. So, I've said this a million times. I'm going to say it again. Zeus is your clear pick for Midgard. But it is your clear pick for Midgard not because I think he is overpowered on this map. It's because he is the simplest god to play on this map. He is very, very simple. The path to victory is laid out. The plan is obvious. It's really, really easy to play Zeus here. But like I said, just because something feels easy, just because something feels easy and is strong, does not mean it is the best thing on this map. So, if you want to try and go quote unquote off meta to deal with this, you have to work out the way to play because it's not easy. It's not simple, I should say. You have to figure out the right counters to what Zeus is going to do. But the good thing is that the Zeus's game plan is very, very simple. He's going to want to build a whole bunch of hoplites. He's going to want to drop a bronze on you. He's going to want to use Skylar to hit your water. And he's going to want to finish you off with a lightning storm. So you have to figure out how to play around that. What are some gods that can play around that? Well, for one, Uranus. Uranus is a fantastic god to play around that. But we don't see Uranus here. We see Gaia. So, we'll see how this all goes. Now, Gaia, how do you defend against what Zeus is going to do? Well, I think the general plan needs to be every single one of these Gaia forests needs to be used on cooldown. We're not saving favor in this game. We're trying to block our base up as hard as we possibly can and prevent any sort of damage from coming in. We're going to need Caraballis to deal with the hoplites. It's going to slow us down. We're going to need to get our dryads out or even go for Rhea and get ourselves something else. We want to go through Oceanus potentially and have some super Murmillos. That can be another way forward in this sort of game. The problem is we don't have any real answer to Lightning Storm. So, for example, Uranus has got the Sky Passage or Vortex, right, to be used to dodge a Lightning Storm. Gaia doesn't really, so you're going to have to figure out, well, how do I survive at that? Because that's the final little nail in the coffin, so to speak. So you have a lot of landmines to get through. But if you do, you're going to be in a good spot. Now, it is a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 gold mine Midgard. So we're not going to see any sort of low gold mine problems. This is another reason why Zeus is good, and this is actually one of the big reasons why Zeus is good here. Not because of simplicity's sake, but just because of his God bonus, which is boosted favor gen, and the fact that he's got some really, really strong non-gold costing myth units in the Skylar, in the Manticore, in the Medusa. And why do I bring that up? Well, Midgard can spawn with 4 gold mines total, which means that your gold is going to be expiring at about like 25-ish minutes into the game, which then means, well, you need to transition to something. You're going to make a trade route, and the Medusa can help, or the Hydra, excuse me, can help. The Hydra can help. Or the Manticores, right? Depending on what you want to go for. Nonetheless, Oceanus on the way, Athena coming through, and we'll see exactly what Grass wants to go for in this one as he's pumping out his fishing ships over here. And we'll see how it all goes. As Grass now moving out across the map, looking for some relics. What has he got? Ankh of Ra, always nice. A little bit of extra favor. Over here we've got the Tower of Cestus. Going to be actually really, really nice to help those towers defend against any sort of myth units. Hermes Wing Sandals here are also nice as well. This one's probably really, really good for Gaia, to be honest, because she's probably going to be wanting to heroize quite a few units in this game. And Eye of Ornlu, this one's huge. This one's really, really good because you're probably going to want some Caraballister in your army. As we do see some interesting walls here from mechanics. This is really smart because if you break the wall down, it's 600 HP for each of these. Wow, I didn't even think about this. This is a really, really nice defensive mechanism. It does probably cost him a little... Maybe it doesn't cost him it anymore. What is this? Like 6, 12, 15? And it's probably a similar distance. This is really, really interesting. Super, super defensive. Love it. Love it. Very tough to break through that. Meanwhile, in the main base, you've got Military Academy, Market coming down, as well as Grass, most likely going to be wanting to go to the next age. Fishing ship count to see exactly how both of these players have ended up after all is said and done. 12 fishing ships for mechanics is a little bit on the light side. Over here for Grass, he's got 9, 12, 15. He's got 15. Yikes. Bit of an advantage there for Grass. But nonetheless, we might see some more fishing ships coming through a little bit later. Do we have the upgrades in? Yes and no. No purse scene in for our Gaia player. I can't overemphasize how important this technology is. If you have, normally, right, if you grab hand axe, right, normally, if I grab hand axe and I've got 10 villagers on wood, it's basically like I'm getting an extra villager on wood, so it's 1 extra villager. If I've got 10 fishing ships and I get myself per scene, that's like I've got 15 fishing ships, so it's +5. That's crazy. You can't be not grabbing that tech. It's so, so vitally important. Nonetheless, Dionysus now clicked up. Nice little defense here from Mechanics as Grass is just throwing stuff away here. He's trying to pick off the Murmillo. It's just not going to go down. There's a Caladria floating around. She's got burst heals to use here if need be. And the Murmillo is going to be back up to full HP in no time. Meanwhile, raids onto the water here, taking down the Pentaconters and everything else. As I guess the big thing here for Mechanics is, does he just sack water? Like, if this is going to be a whole bunch of Scala that come out, do you just spam units and then you just go for the gold staff? Might be the way to go. Especially if it's going to be only hoplites coming in, because you can get some counter barracks units in. You could also go for Heroic Fleet and try and defend on the water, but at this point, makes some sense to just get aggressive. But Grass is very smart. He's out on the middle of the map already, as a couple of these Murmillos will be spotting some units over here to take a fight. Got to be super careful with the heals here. Staying away from the heroes also going to be really important, as he does manage to keep one Murmillo alive, but he's slowly starting to lose these as the Caladria can't keep everyone alive on this fight. Just not enough units here as he has to pull back. 6 Murmillo in queue right now as the Pacifist now starting to come in. And we do have a counter barracks up. Meanwhile, heroic fleet on the way for our Gaia player. And the Scarlet is out chasing the servant around, who is being a bit of a nuisance for the time being. So it looks like this little fight here going the wayside of Grass here. He tries to split everything, going for a raid onto the fishing ships instead. The advantage of Atlantean here is the speed. So getting raids in, not really taking fights, but just getting raids in is really, really good. As the units do decide they want to take a little bit of a fight over here. Carnivore gets dropped down. Still none of these Caraballas to come through. No Caraballas to coming through is a big question mark, but it looks like the Heroic Age is what he wants. He wants that Rhea, wants that Trader. There's a world here where you sack units. Wait, I don't know how this works. Maybe this doesn't work. Can someone confirm for me if Trader keeps Skylar heads in a Game of Age of Mythology Retold? Because that could be really, really smart. You sack a whole bunch of dudes into it, get the 5-headed Hydra, then you Trader. As the Murmillos charging in onto this position. Trader resets the unit. I know that it doesn't give you the techs, but I thought maybe because it's not a tech associated with the Skylar, it's like something different. It might have been different, but just can't have fun things in this game. That being said, I always get frustrated playing against Trader, so happy days. I know the answer, but I won't tell you. That's so rude. There's a town center coming up here for SK24. Doesn't it just delete a unit and respawn a new one? I don't actually believe... Maybe it... there is... I know that there's a trigger which is change player color. I imagine that's what they used. I know that trigger exists. It existed in Legacy because I used it for sweaty editor tests. But nonetheless, Heroic Age now in. Trader coming in onto the Hydra. Unfortunately, there is a Jason there, so he's going to have to retreat back away from this one. There's a bolt there onto the Behemoth coming down. Nice little awareness there to have that and use that one on that big fat unit. As the Murmillos have to bail away, and this town center is just going to get torn down. As we are now starting to see some Arcus coming through. I'll let you in on a secret. Don't be building Arcus at this point in the game. We want to be building Cairo Ballista here. As he does decide to get them out. The Cairo Ballista and Harrowize as well. The Cairo Ballista here, those are your units. Those are the units you want to deal with those hoplites. To deal with those Hephaestus. We can look to build Arcus a little bit later. And in that moment there, Mechanics out of gold, out of hope, and this one does decide to tap out. So a really well executed game there from Grass. He played this. I don't think this was necessarily like he did anything special here. I think Mechanics just sort of crumbled a little bit. Like, cause he just kind of played the plan of the Zeus. And I think if Mechanics had maybe just grabbed himself a couple of Caraballas out nice and early, had those Murmillos, wandered forward, made sure that no villagers were getting gold out over here, maybe tried to force a restoration or a bronze and then retreat back. But the fact that Grass still has restoration and bronze and is in this position is really, really tough for Mechanics here. So he has to tap out. But well played. And the series is now leveled 2-2. So we've got ourselves a game 5. Well, it all comes down to this. Game number 5 on the map Bamboo Grove. Grass, 2 wins. SK24, Mechanics, 2 wins. 1 more win for the grand prize of saying that you won a group stage match in the Mythic Wars tournament hosted by Yo Dessler. $10,000 in this tournament. You also get $30 every series you win. So there's a little bit of that, a little bit more than just pride on the line right now for the early stages of this tournament. So let's see how things are going to go. Uranos versus Shenong as well. Super interesting matchup. I have no idea what Shenong is going for at this point in Age of Mythology. There are players out there that wish to remain nameless who on the Shenong is incredibly weak train right now. Personally, I'm still on the train of this Chinese god is really, really new, and players are, one, not playing it optimally. The majority of players are not going to be playing it optimally like they're playing, say, like Zeus really well, or, you know, Isis really well. Some of these gods that have had a lot of testing, a lot of games played. So it can feel like these Chinese are going to be really, really weak. I think after like 4 or 5 months past that, we'll start really knowing if China is absolute garbage or in need of more nerfs or whatever, because I don't know what we know. But I also know that there's going to be changes probably coming in balance-wise throughout the next couple of months as well. That's just going to shake everything up. So we'll have to wait and see, but I'm excited to see what Mr. SK24 is going to bring to the table, as well as Grass doing Grass things. So Uranos against China is, I guess, fairly simple. The game plan is fairly simple. You've got your Terma that are going to be able to counter off the Pioneers early on. You've got Prometheans you can go into, which we are seeing Prometheus as the god of choice here. So you can do Terma Promethean, which makes a lot of sense, and just go in for a really, really big, fat, all-in Sky Passages all across the map. You can even deny second Talon Centers, because you are seeing 1 Sky Passage coming up here, and you can wander down to the bottom here and drop a Sky Passage onto this bottom side here as well. If he wants to, you can go for a fast second Talon Center, which it does actually kind of look like Grass is going for this. Now, from memory, the Sky Passage fast second Talon Center for Uranos is supposed to be a 4-minute advance time, like the 4-minute 20 advance time, because you just can't afford to get both Sky Passages up and have the resources for the town center. From memory, I could be wrong on that. But nonetheless, we'll see how things are going to go. Oop. This bloody pathing thing is so... He does notice it. That's good. That's good. That's good. The pathing thing with the Quailfu is so obscenely annoying. As you do see now, the village is coming in to grab the town center. Pioneer over here to come in. Does spot this here as well. What I mean by, like, the Quailfu here is, it's just weird. I mean, the wood lines in general, the pathing is a bit funky, but the Quailfu is just really behaving super odd at the moment. I'm really hoping that gets addressed in upcoming patches, because you just got to be so, like, shift clicky about the whole thing. Just never trust the AI, basically, with the Quailfu. Never trust it. Is Grass going to finish up his town center, and he's deciding to go into somewhat of a boomy game here. I'm not 100% sure if this is good or bad. This is not a style of Uranos that I play all too often, so I'm not exactly sure if this is amazing against China or not. I don't have the experience there. But if Grass is doing it, I'm sure that he's got some semblance of an idea of what works and what doesn't, so I wouldn't be surprised if it does. The big advantage of playing this style of Uranos is that you can't get raided. As we are seeing him currently getting raided, but you should not lose a single villager and you should barely have any idle time on your villagers. In fact, Grass should probably just wander over here through this sky passage and start chopping over here. And then if he loses this, no problems. We'll just rebuild the sky passage next to the town center. All good. So that's the big advantage of 2 town center play. But if your opponent also goes 2 town center, it doesn't really matter, right? That you are that you aren't getting raided, like that you can do nothing. Meanwhile, Machine Workshop coming up for SK24, the man, the myth, the legend. We'll see if he can make it work. Going into archers here doesn't make a whole lot of sense right off the bat because you're going to be going up against a counter barracks. So, and catapulties don't really make any sense to get built anyways at this stage of the game against China because there's no cavalry. So the archer or the Machine Workshop here probably not the most necessary thing for the moment, but we'll see if he's just building it there for maybe the heroic age or something like that, maybe making some siege units out of it, or waiting for a potential, or making sure he has a potential answer to Mamilos, I guess. As you see abundance coming through, and there's the military academy as well coming up, as the full-on boom is on the way. Just a handful of Terma out at the moment. It looks like it's going to be somewhat of a fast heroic here for Grass, and it's looking more and more like this is probably going to be the Thea angle. Idea of Thea being you can get yourself really, really good Terma with Poseidon's Secret and Contarius, while both of those make a lot of sense to have some really strong ones going into sort of a late game sort of situation. Like I know I think a lot of other competitive players probably don't agree with me, but I think that a champion Terma against China is actually really good. I think it's a really worthwhile unit building, or maybe even a heavy Terma. Really worthwhile unit building against China because they want to build Shuko Nu or Fire Archers, and this unit is just great against them. As they are on the way now for Grass. And we'll see what mechanics... Oh! It's this Javelineer. I'm sorry. The Javelineer, he's sad. This unit is sad. If there's a unit here that needs a buff for China, it's this unit right here. I can't... He just needs... He needs some help. Poor guy. It's actually not a stats problem, by the way. The stats isn't the problem. It's the actual animation of the Javelineer. Now, I think it can get solved by an attack speed change or something like that. So fingers crossed that that's something that we might be able to see at some point. But we'll see how things are going to go. Javelin Kavot's on my case here. So Javelin is so good. The problem with the Javelineer is it just feels really, really clunky. That's all it is. It's not that the stats are bad. Like I said, the stats are not bad. It's just if you're trying to micro, which I know is a difficult thing for a lot of players, but if you're trying to micro them, it can feel really, really awful. I'm just going to ignore you guys. I'm getting rid of Twitch chat. Twitch chat's going in the bin. You guys are terrible. As now, Thea is the god of choice here, and it will be Heavy Cavalry, Poseidon's Secret, Lance of Stone. So straight into these cavalry units. And a cheeky little sky passage down on the bottom as well. A sky passage over here, ready to start just hitting things all over the map in a big way. We could do it. We could do a side by side of the Peltas versus the Javelin here, for sure. As the Contarius starting to pop out, and this is where SK24 really needs to be scouting what's coming. All these military barracks don't mean squat. You need to see the units, and this is the advantage of Uranus, right? Like, obviously I could guess, and I'll be right half the time, but all these Contaris, spotting them, the answer is to just build out a huge amount of halberdiers. We are seeing the military camps coming down. He does have just the one machine workshop, so it looks like he's guessed the right way. And he can just pump out halberdiers right now for the defense as he sees the Contaris coming onto this left-hand corner of the map. There's the villagers going down. Meanwhile, Contaris just all over the place here. Is the slow Chinese army is going to be very, very difficult to make work here. He's getting out these halberdiers. They are really good against the Contaris. Grass probably is going to need to move away from Contaris here to deal with these. But he does have access to, like, I guess you can make out some Caraballister if he really wants to. You can make some Arcus moving forward. He does have these really nice Dryads as well. We'll see what he's going to go for. He's got 90 of 90 population. He's housed. Mechanics is in a terrible spot. He drops the Fave East down. Going to try and get some damage done onto the cavalry. Grass just says, I don't want anything to do with this. Let me just run for it. But he can literally just turn around and kill these off if he wants to. He doesn't need to run. He's going to go straight into the Sky Passage. As onto the bottom side, the Baihu in, but there is a hero Contarius here to deal with this one, as the Halberdiers will deal with all those Contarius over there. The way that Grass is playing this one, not transitioning away from the Contarius, does give Mechanics a really, really good amount of time here to sort of stabilize on all the mistakes that's currently happened. The problem is that he's got 0 gold in the bank right now. He's in a very difficult position. Another Sky Pass is coming up. It was cleaned up, but if you don't pick off the villager there, it's going to come back up very, very quickly. And this is also only a 3,000 gold mine. So even if Mechanics manages to somehow secure this, this is not safety for Mechanics. He's still going to have to work this one out as he charges in too late on the Sky Passage. And now all the Arcus in the world starting to come through. And this is going to be a lot of units to have to deal with here. As the hero Contarius in on the back, trying to snipe down those pioneers there as well. But the halberdiers all ending up falling here. More units on the back going to be coming in as the Baihu dives in, gets a bit of a stun, able to snipe a couple more units down. We do have the villagers back over onto this gold mine there as well, as Grass managing to give himself a significant advantage now moving forward, trying to take out the Baale here. These halberdiers do not have themselves just yet any of these upgrades that come for the infantry units here, as the halberdier moving forward but diving straight in head first into a huge amount of Arcus. Mr. Qualfu garrisoning away, and the Javelin here going to be getting taken down here as well. As where to next for Mechanics? Like, the army here is very, very beatable for the Chinese, but he just doesn't have the income. He doesn't have the resources. He doesn't have the time, even. What else can he do? He doesn't have the favor for another earth wall to delay. And the ballet looks like it is going to be going down here. And Grass takes the win, takes the dub, and claims a 3-2 victory here. Very, very close for Grass. Mechanics putting up a very nice showing. Definitely think he was in an okay position, but he just, I don't know if it was just he didn't have the setup here to defend. But this one Sky Passage down the bottom to hit this gold mine. The Sky Passage at the top here. Really, really nice strangle. Potentially, actually, if Mechanics just move forward here to grab this gold mine in the middle, where the Sky Passages weren't, there was a world where he might have been able to just stabilize. Taking the fight up here was probably a little bit too early for Mechanics. Probably could have waited a little bit longer to get some more units out. But unfortunately for him, he does not manage to work it out here. And Grass gets the dub. Congratulations to him. If you guys enjoyed the game, enjoyed the series, enjoyed the Mythic Wars action, make sure you hit the follow, hit the subscribe, hit the comments, and all the other good stuff. And make sure you check out your Dessler's channel as well, as he's going to be taking you through a whole bunch of these games as well. And we'll see you in the next one.